Hey everyone out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I am the host and the founder of this Psychic News Network, relatively newly established. As you can tell, I don't have a lot of subscribers, and I believe in the power of thought, and I'm just thinking that it's gonna grow. Anyhow, I hope you're doing well. It's been a few days, been a busy week for the news. It's an intense time. Astrologically, new moon in Scorpio just a couple hours ago, and it's nighttime, Thursday, November 4th, 2021, and I'm looking at what do I unpack first. Let's see, as usual. My nose wants to sneeze. I'm good. Okay, so the last time we left our story, something happened that was unusual for me. I have to say it was unusual. So I asked my guides about the Virginia governor's race and what happened there, because I really felt McAuliffe had a strong chance of winning. So I said that I felt him winning. I feel like the votes were there. It was a close race. Maybe some people didn't get out to vote that were thinking, if I get the chance to get out and vote. I don't know if they've made it difficult in Virginia. But let me tell you what my guide said. In a few ways, McAuliffe not winning in Virginia, I know it's tough for us to take, but anyway, because we're on the side of people that care about people's well-being and looking after our brothers and sisters, which the GOP never shows any signs of having any interest in. Let's just be clear about, it's not necessarily about being in one party or the other. It's about what we believe in, the principles that we believe in. We believe in government that is by the people and for the people, not for big money and profit over people. So, that being said, a couple of things. McAuliffe not winning definitely made Democrats go, whoa, we need to tweak something because the message isn't really getting out there. We all have to keep in mind, I mean, we psychics that have these political channels where we talk about the news, we have to kind of remember that we're a minority in the sense that not everybody is watching the news. There are people that never vote. There are people that don't want to hear it. I mean, I can totally understand that. Because for a couple of days after that Virginia race, I had no interest in watching all the pundits and the talking heads. Well, it was because of this, it was because of that, it was, playing the blame game. Excuse me, I gotta move my appointment book. Playing the blame game and conjecturing. It's like, let's just be positive, figure out what the Democratic Party can do better, what kind of messaging would work better. Really interesting. There's so many different angles to this race in Virginia that just happened. One is that, Youngkin wasn't really pushing hard on the Trumpism because he felt like that would work against him. Interesting. He was probably right about that, which goes to show you that it's very likely that 45 is losing his appeal, at least somewhat. I think it's a lot, but at least somewhat. The Republicans are getting skittish about having 45 on their bandwagon. So there was that aspect. There was the aspect that the Democrats have to go back to the drawing board and work on their messaging and really tap into what the American people want, and especially tap into how they're going to deliver. Tonight, there's a possible vote on the infrastructure bill. Possibly. I can't even count how many times we've been around and around this merry-go-round. Is there going to be? Well, if I didn't continually lose my pendulum, I think my pendulum just doesn't want to work. My pendulum quit. I was going to take a look at whether they're going to vote tonight, but I'll read the cards instead. I don't really need my pendulum, it's just fun. I do have a makeshift one. Oh, I'll use this. So the Democrats have to get their messaging clear and have to take into consideration that, I hate to think it's a majority of Americans not paying attention, but a lot of Americans aren't paying attention. Case in point, I'm talking about the other side now for a moment. I was watching some clip of a person in Virginia who was going to vote for Youngkin, older man, probably retired elderly man, and the interviewer was asking him why he was going to vote for Youngkin, and he said, you may have seen this, he said, because of that critical race theory, thing. And so the interviewer was like, okay, what part of it, or what is critical race theory to you? And the guy was stumbling and stuttering, and really, to his credit, he admitted he had no idea what it was. This is what I'm telling you. You might recognize this yourself. Most people aren't paying attention. And I'm sorry to say most, but I think that it's true that most people aren't paying attention. I mean, every once in a while I mention a Jimmy Kimmel clip, and you almost think it's staged. On the Jimmy Kimmel show, frequently they have one of their interviewers go on the street, it's a comedy, and they ask the general public, oh, what do you think about this? Whatever's in the news. And they have no idea. And in the infrastructure bill, the Republicans didn't want free community college tuition. So there you go. We're becoming kind of a stupid nation. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to wax all negative. So, I was going to ask about, hang on. Well, I just want to say one more thing. So, the Virginia race was a blessing in disguise. That's what the guides told me. It was a blessing in disguise. It's unfortunate that the best psychics called McAuliffe, but looking at it from a different angle, the Republicans would have come around, those of them that are into conspiracy theorists, you know who we're talking about, most of them, would have come back if McAuliffe won, and there would have been all this kinds of ruckus. I'm just saying what would have happened. They would have cried foul. They would have cried voter fraud. It would have strengthened their lies that there is such a thing as voter fraud, because there isn't. And so there's that. So we're better off because the Democrats get to refine their message. And I'm going to ask about the infrastructure bill. Don't let me forget. Oh yeah, I'm not live. Hint, hint, I need 1,000 subscribers to go live. So we're better off. And some Democrats did win in some races. For instance, I believe his name is Eric Adams, is mayor of New York now, and there's a few other races where Democrats won, but not as high profile as Virginia. Okay. Are they going to vote on the infrastructure bill tonight? Is that going to happen? It's going around in a circle. Infrastructure bill tonight. It can't be going around in a circle. We need yes or no. They don't want to tell me. Come on. Work with me here. Are they going to vote on the infrastructure bill tonight? I think the pendulum is saying they're going to go around to see what it's doing, around and around in a circle. All right, we'll ask later. Let's ask the cards. Are they going to vote on the infrastructure bill tonight? That's funny. Usually it tells me. See, everything's whacked out. Have you been watching the Q-anon people? They're back in the news. Before I get to that, my new sign, because it's hard to see. May we draw continual light, which always reminds us of our purpose. May we draw continual light, which always reminds us of our purpose, and inspires us to awaken it and the rest of the world. That's my teacher, who's now deceased, Tony Stone, my spiritual prosperity teacher. wonderworks.org if you want to look at their material. May we draw continual light. Infrastructure bill. We're going to pull some cards since the pendulum was mum about it. I do see Nancy Pelosi. I do see Pelosi in my mind's eye, and she seems very determined. She's such a mother. Pelosi's got this really mother energy. Like, now, we're going to get that done because I said so. They're lining it up. It might not be, it might be in the wee hours of the morning. Let me ask that. Yo, trusty pendulum, is it going to be in the wee hours of the morning? Is that what you're telling me? It looks like yes. All right, we'll see. I got a little thrown by the McAuliffe thing. I'm telling you. Not that I don't have faith. But really, when you think about it, the Republicans, the conspiracy theorists would have been storming down the State House in Virginia. Not that we need to be afraid of them or succumb to that. I'm just saying that was part of what was going to happen. The Two of Pentacles, so they're lining it up to vote on the infrastructure bill tonight. It's November 4th. And the Two of Pentacles certainly is a balancing act. I'm so mad at Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin, the word salad dude. I mean, it's really like what's coming out of his mouth has no substance. Oh, well, I think it's too soon. I think we're rushing this through. Let's think about how long they've been working on this infrastructure bill. Since freaking January. Calm down. It looks like something's going to pass tonight. I have to educate myself on how many different times and convolutions that our government has to go through to pass a bill. I don't remember it ever being this way, like, I don't know, when I was a kid. Anyway, Prince of Swords. There is something that's going to pass tonight. They're going to make some progress tonight on the vote, on the infrastructure bill. I do get that really clearly. All right. How is it in your neck of the woods for weather? It's getting cold here. Getting chilly. Beautiful, though. Beautiful, beautiful fall day. I had to take down I still have my fall decorations. Hope you like them. Let's go to the conspiracy theorists. Then we're going to go to 45s. Somebody mentioned in the comments the last vid was a lot to unpack, but it doesn't get to be less. It gets to be more and more. So true. So, conspiracy theorists, I just want to see is it actual mind control? Is it actual brainwashing? In Dallas, they were waiting on the street for the ghost of JFK Jr. And, if I remember, if my mind is, all there with this, I think John F. Kennedy, the Kennedy family are Democrats. I live in Massachusetts. Hello? And why would JFK Jr., who's deceased from that horrible plane crash 22 years ago or something, don't go down the rabbit hole, right? What were they expecting, a ghost? They expected that JFK Jr. was in hiding? I mean, how do they come up with this stuff? It's concerning if you know about cults. It's very concerning. All right, let's see what's going on with that. Are they going to snap out of it? Are people that lost? Give us the 411. Are the Q-anon conspiracy theorists going to snap out of it? It looks like when the truth about 45 comes out. Now, I mean, somewhat. We have some hills to climb. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to what's going on in the courts with 45 and January 6th and all that. The Eight of Wands is indicating that some of these conspiracy theorists, some of these QAnon people, You know, the Eight of Wands is like that guy's jumping over. He's like, it's almost like a high jumper. It's almost like an escape. The guys are saying 30, I'm saying 30%. We're going to see a percentage of them leaving the QAnon conspiracy theorists. Every time something doesn't happen, that whoever Q is predicting to happen, I think they lose people. I see a new person stepping in to say that he's Q. I don't know who that would be. And this reminds me of somebody who's running for office, an office in Arizona. I don't remember her name, but she's scary. And she looks like a she looks like a very rich evangelical person. And she is alluring people. She wears a cross, you know. It's so misused. Anyway. Some of the QAnon conspiracy theorists are going to jump out of the cult. I do remember seeing some programs, some news shows about people who had escaped the QAnon cult that referred to it as a cult and were kind of getting their lives back because they got so sucked in. That is totally what that mind control stuff does. But it's nefarious now because it's through the internet. And it appeals to people's need to feel like they are belongers. But boy, you know, they look kind of silly all lying in the streets of Dallas waiting for JFK to show up. Junior, not senior. Boggles my brain. We live in interesting times. Let me go to the next thing. 45 case 2. Okay. Do you remember that I keep saying that I see female judges being really hardcore? So 45 is trying to have documents withheld that Congress needs for their investigation into January 6th, in which there's loads and loads and reams of evidence and documents and video and just everything. I don't know if they have video. I mean, I don't know which specific documents. But they're all incriminating. They all say that he's guilty. They all say that he planned and incited this insurrection. He didn't go with them to the Capitol, though. I watched it that morning in terror as he was having that rally that we've all seen a million times now. He didn't walk down with them to the Capitol, even though he said he would. The big liar. What's going to happen with that court thing? It looks like they're going to be able to get the documents. Congress needs to get those documents. Okay, so the Emperor is coming up. The Emperor was flipped over on its own. The Emperor has no clothes. He's trapped. 10 of Wands. It's going to incriminate him. He's trapped. This card often reminds me of a jail card. The Emperor, this is actually representing the DOJ, Department of Justice, the 6 of Cups. The 45 is gonna try to lean in to something like, you know, it's not gonna work that he's saying that he still has executive privilege, but he's gonna try a different angle on that. He's gonna try a different angle on this executive privilege thing. You know, as dumb as we think he is, I mean, he can't spell. He can't speak eloquently. And that's what I'm talking about. He really does have a mastery in manipulation. Like, he could have a doctorate in manipulation and con. If they had that, well, they had Trump University, right? Maybe that's what they taught, how to con. If you can't do it honestly, if you're not competent enough to come by your wealth honestly, how to con your way there. He is looking. I'm gonna take a couple more cards about that, about these documents that he's trying to say is executive privilege over the right for Congress to see them, which makes 0 sense. And don't even get me started as to how upset and angry I am, and you probably share this. This is why I have to take a break from the news sometimes, like half a day, that he's still walking around. a free man. Oh, he's done. Oh, 45 is done. Oh, once they get those documents. But I'm saying that with the total awareness that he incited that riot and didn't get arrested that day. But the Chariot is something's coming rushing in on him. The Eight of Swords is, you know, there are people that are as angry as I'm not showing all my anger about this, but anyway, yeah, this is a Five of Pentacles, is he's out of things to fight with monetarily. And the Eight of Swords is he's, you know, that's the, in the other deck, you know, that's the person wrapped up and bound and blindfolded. He's really trapped. And it's going to happen quickly. I'm getting 11-11. I'm feeling 11-11. What's going on 11-11? Oh, it's Veterans Day. I'm feeling on that day something's gonna shift, and 45 will really find himself out of words and out of options. Interesting. By the way, somebody posted in the comments that about the Alec Baldwin, the on-set shooting, which I can't look at that as an accident. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a psychic, and this channel is for entertainment purposes only, based only on psychic facts, my psychic facts, entertainment purposes only. And then somebody posted something that I wasn't able to look at in the comments and then somebody else told me the same thing. I pulled the High Priestess when I looked at the Alec Baldwin on-set accidental shooting. And I felt like somebody knew that was going to happen. And I pulled the High Priestess that day. You might remember that reading a couple times ago. And I said that the High Priestess came up, which meant that somebody is keeping a secret. I think that secret's going to come out. Oh, Pendulum, is that secret about the Alec Baldwin accident, is it going to come out? Yeah, it's saying yes, and the other day I got yes also. Yeah, there are women that know what happened. On the Alec Baldwin set, there are women there that know what happened. I feel like behind closed doors they're talking, and I got the Devil card. Somebody was out, somebody framed Alec Baldwin. You heard it here first. I'm not saying it to get attention. I'm saying it because I couldn't let go of it. And that was a couple weeks ago. 2-3 weeks ago, right? We shall see what unfolds. The guides tell me in terms of 45 and all his crimes and all, it's like if you were going to make a movie out of all the crimes, all the stuff that's being uncovered, all the people that are being investigated, you'd make about 25 movies to cover all of it. Maybe more. Someday maybe that'll happen. Meanwhile, back to my list. So 45, yeah, look at around November 12th. Next weekend. By the end of next week, we're gonna see a lot of maybe even a subpoena against 45 when the documents come out, because they will, and I see that the public will get to see them. Then what are the conspiracy theorists going to say? What's so distressing about that is you're right in their face and you're like, well, here's the fact, not psychic fact, here's a real fact, and you say this to the conspiracy theorists like the voter fraud thing. Here's the fact, there's no voter fraud to, really speak of. Yes, there was. So that's the age of no evidence required. So, boy, somebody cranked the heat in here. It's getting hot. There's more. There's more. I'm just choosing. I can't get it all today. COVID. The the other day I mentioned that I saw the Scandinavian companies, no, not companies, well, companies are involved. Scandinavian countries, spit it out, Annette, leading the way on technology for global climate change solutions. And I just briefly saw something about Iceland having some kind of a contraption to help with global climate change, so you might want to look at that. I didn't read the article. So there's that. What's up with Rand Paul and Fauci? Those two have a past life together. Rand Paul and Fauci have a past life together. And I feel like they were related to each other. I know, I read past lives, so I'm just telling you what I see. And that they hated each other, and one has a vendetta against the other. This is soul stuff. Rand Paul is, he has a demonic presence in him. Just so you know, I'm just saying what I see. As does Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott, which probably goes without saying. I'm just going to briefly peek at, because Rand Paul's, it's out of control. Rand Paul is basically telling Dr. Fauci that he caused the pandemic. That it's because of him that the pandemic even happened. As if Dr. Fauci was in a lab going, oh, how can I kill all the people in the world? It's ridiculous. And we've had enough. We have had enough. So what's up with Rand Paul and Fauci besides that they hated each other in a past life and well, Rand Paul, yeah, I think Rand Paul is jealous of Fauci. Because isn't Rand Paul, wasn't he a doctor? Oh, actually, all right, I'm just going to tell you what I see. I see that Fauci and some other people in the administration have something on Rand Paul. Not that they're in that kind of a position. I'm just saying they know something about Rand Paul. And so it's like Rand Paul is trying to do this smoke screen thing. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain because he's in big trouble for some big stuff that he's done. I am really looking forward to the day that people that are in big trouble for big stuff that they've done are taken to trial. Now, speaking of trial, when there's this much news, you have to jump all over the place. Just so you know, I can't look at the Rittenhouse thing because there's evil and then there's evil, and I can't look at that because it's too dark. That Rittenhouse kid that shot those Black Lives Matter protesters, I can't look at him. It's a horrible situation. Back to Rand Paul. There are people that know, this reminds me of the Manchin thing. There are people that know about what Rand Paul has done. It looks like kind of money laundering. It looks like stealing money, and it's coming out. And Rand Paul is trying to create a smoke screen to make, just like 45s. It's right out of the 45 playbook. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Nothing against the Wizard of Oz, because he was a nice man. Yeah, interesting energy of this new moon in Scorpio. Very interesting. DeSantis, DeSatan, aptly named, is now mocking the government for mandates for workers to get vaccinated to protect the public. And DeSantis just looks like somebody who doesn't care about anyone, if you ask me. Sociopath, like I always say. The fool. DeSantis is not very smart. But apparently it doesn't take smarts to win public office. It just takes corruption. This is DeSantis, the fool. the King of Swords is basically saying that Joe Biden's mandates are going to win the day. King of Swords, he's got a sword. It's like a vaccine. The Prince of Pentacles, this is somebody in a position of power. This looks like a police representative who's going to fall because of this. I see somebody in policing in Florida who's prominent, who's going to fall because of this. And unfortunately, it looks like a health crisis. Like a police chief or something. I don't know who. I don't know the police chiefs in Florida. But there's a lot of, you might not know this, there's a high percentage of police officers that have died from COVID. Quite a few. The Department of Justice lawsuits right now, finally they're suing taking away voting rights. In Texas, they're suing someplace else too. I've been busy, so I don't have the details on the news, but I got that the DOJ was suing a state that was taking away voting rights. Yeah, it was Texas. Once again, I get the Fool. That's really pointing to, because the Fool and the Hierophant are coming up, the Constitution wins this one. They're foolish to be pushing this far. But you know why the Republicans are pushing this far? Because they can. Because 45 did not get arrested on January 6th. And so anything goes. If you're a criminal and nobody's getting, caught and thrown in prison for the crime that they committed that was horrific, then you think anything goes. Anyway, anything doesn't go, because now, the jig is up. This is the Fool. The jig is up. The DOJ suing Texas about taking away voting rights. This is our Constitution. This is Abbott trying to hold on. And Abbott's a scared little boy here. Not really sure what kind of trouble he's in, but he looks scared. I think that that's going to have teeth. I think that lawsuit's going to have teeth. And since we're on the topic of Texas, I want to plug one of the psychics, Granny something. I'm sorry, I just caught it on a whim. Who educated us on women's rights and the whole history of how women have had no rights for so long, and how nefarious that's been. And it was really good. I'll see if I can find the link and post it. All you who follow the psychics, you know who I'm talking about. See if you can catch her video about where she's reading some documents about women's rights and the history of women's rights, and how, men have always, treated women as possessions, and have had every right to do everything that they can to make the women have no options, and women had very limited roles that they could play, and that was it. On that note, not to depress you, but I have not had to, please pray for the children in Afghanistan. I have not been able to, when you can't unsee something, the little girls that are being married off to middle-aged men in Afghanistan because the families are that desperate for money, they're selling their children. Please pray, send positive energy, send money. It's unthinkable. Anyway, the DOJ, not to brush it off, I'm just saying, please do something. Even if it's pray for the children of Afghanistan. We'll end with the DOJ and what's going to happen with the lawsuit about the abortion ban. We know the Supreme Court, like Mr. Kavanaugh of all people, piped up, trying to look like the good guy, about that law being unconstitutional. It's a little too much, a little too late. Too little, too late. So what's going to happen with that abortion ban? This is funny. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Oh yeah, they got it coming to them. Texas, Abbott has it coming to them. The chariot quickly. Now this is the second time I pulled the chariot on a DOJ issue. The first one was about 45. And today I got a really strong sense that of exactly this. It's just like the energy's just hitting the ground running on things finally getting moving with all these, criminal cases. All of them across the board. King of Wands. Ooh. Merrick Garland is going to start being a little more visible. No promises on how visible, but a little more visible. As we're starting to see. Think good thoughts. Take good care of yourself. Walk in nature at least an hour a day if you can possibly manage that. It makes a difference. It really does help. You owe it to yourself to be good to yourself, to be happy, be joyful. Find the things that bring you joy. And if anyone wants to join me in my 1,000 gratitude challenge, something that Tony Stone, who I mentioned earlier, taught us. The 1,000 gratitude challenge is between now and Thanksgiving, you have to have a list of 1,000 things. They all have to be different that you're grateful for. If you want to join me, let me know. It's no obligation. You can just say, I did it or I didn't do it. It's going to be a lot more fun when I can go live, you guys. So if you can subscribe, hit the like button, all that, like most spiritual psychic people, we're really bad at promoting, but do what you can to help, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Namaste. See you in a couple days, probably Saturday.